Hello, it's Simon here, and today I'm going to be playing a practice game. So I'm going to be playing 30 minutes rapid online on chess.com. This is my first video, and I'm only at 1500, so any advice is appreciated. Let's get into it. So playing black here, and we are going against d4, so I'm going to play d5. Let's see, we're playing this. I'm going to take it, some kind of gambit maybe. Yep, knight f3, we're going to play knight to f6, maybe f5 could have been better. We're going to, let's put defense onto e4. Maybe knight c6 next. Yeah, so we could play knight c, or they take. Let's see, how are we going to take back? What do we take back? Just don't want to fall into a trap. I think I'll take back here, maybe start an attack on g2. Maybe play something like d5, takes, and we can take back. He takes back here, and we're gonna take back with the knight. Let's see what happens next. Queen, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to put defense. I can take this pawn, I think, but then maybe there's some kind of attack. Here maybe, no, because then I've got this. I think I can take the pawn. I think I am going to take the pawn. I don't see any. Could be something here, but I've just got c6. Yeah, I think I can just take the pawn. Maybe knight e2. Here maybe I could play something like knight c6 after. Of course, I've gotten rid of this attack. If I play this, then he's just going to play bishop here. So maybe this is best, but then there's this. Let's see. Don't have a nice attack here though. This doesn't work. This doesn't work because then there's some kind of discovered attack. There's this, there's this, but then I can move back here. I could have also moved back here at the start anyway. Let's continue with let's just play. Let's play this, I think, because then I'll check down here and then move back down here. So let's play d4. Let's play d5. Let's play queen d5. Let's see what happens next. So my plan right now is to play knight c6 and then castle. Maybe start a battery on the d file. I just don't know if I'm missing some kind of tactics. Knight c3 is a strong move, actually, yeah, but I can pin there. No, because then they take there. So knight c3 could be a strong move. Don't see a way to defend from that. Maybe queen e5. But then there's double attack. Oh, I think I might have messed up. Maybe. Well, that's a. Yeah, knight c3 is very strong. But he doesn't play it. I'm going to play queen a5, I think. If he does this, then of course there's checkmate. So after queen a5, he's gonna have to defend here, or move the king, and then I can move back safely. So let's play queen a5. He plays c3, and now I can move back to d6 safely, I think. Let's move back to d6. So right now this position is quite interesting. I've never played a position like this. Is he trying to get me? Takes, and then we can take. He takes here, and then I can actually check and win there. No, I can't because the bishop's defending. Let's see. Takes, check. He could move back here though. I don't see a way to defend from that. I could play this now. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then play something here to block this attack on the b7 pawn. I think that's what I'm going to play. Am I missing something? I can also I could just develop, but then there's that. And if I take, then there's none of that because this is defending. So I think I can play this on castle. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can. I'm going to play knight c6. The d6 knight is defending f7, so that's why this double attack doesn't work once he's moved the knight. Maybe I've got a check on e5, unless he castles, but then I've got queen c5 check, and I've got this double attack, I think. Let's see what my opponent plays, and then we will carry on. Maybe queenside castle, there's e5. Get the queen to the centre, I think. I might have already said that, but maybe f6 and e5. Even though that opens up this h5, e8 diagonal, which I don't like. So let's see what my opponent will play. There's castles, maybe is moving this knight away. That stops me from checking. And then maybe I can take here next. Oh yes, this is under attack as well. He moves back. And now let's see. I could have knight d4, but then you can take there. Check on e5, that doesn't do much, that might be an inaccuracy. E5 maybe, queenside castle, knight d4 looks interesting. Maybe not. Maybe actually, because if he takes, I've got this check on e5. This c-pawn's pinned. Yeah, he doesn't have any checks. does have that check, but then I take, but then he can take there. Then I can queenside castle, maybe that would help me instead. So maybe knight d4 takes check. There is none of that because then I checkmate. So I think knight d4 is a strong move. Let's see what my opponent plays. Maybe I've missed something, and I can always take this. Well, that's what it's also threatening to take on b3, and then if it takes back with the pawn, I can take his rook. And if the bishop moves off this diagonal, then I can play c2 and fork the rook and king. I'm also, oh wow, I'm also attacking this queen, so maybe d4 was quite a strong move. Unless I've missed something, of course. Maybe this check doesn't do anything though. Takes check. This is defended. He can't move back here. What if he just moves this and this is defended? Or maybe I'm messed up here. Hopefully get scared and doesn't play correctly. Maybe he can the queen. There's an attack on the queen there, so he's gonna move the queen. I think the only option, third option, is he moves back to d1, and this defends this pawn. Here, this bishop, sorry, e5 check looks good. e5 check, but then after that, there is not much I can do. Because I have to check. Knight can move back to e2, then I can take there, maybe take back and then castle. I think I've got a better position there, more active. Let's see. I also wanna. I think I'm going to go for this check, but I don't see after this. He is creating more passive pieces and I can castle. But then I stop e5. I think this check will go a long way, so I'll just do this check. I think knight e2 is the best move here though. I don't see a way I can fight after knight e2. Queenside castle looks good after, but I'm gonna have to move this knight because I'm no longer pinning this c3 pawn. Maybe he could also be defend. No, he can't play queen e2. Yeah, I think knight e2 is going to be played. Bishop e3 loses because I take there. Let's see. I can take there. I can take there. I don't know really. Maybe I can trade off pieces and then, but then he's got this active. I kind of want to take here and then castle queenside. That looks quite good. Yeah, I'm going to play that. Or maybe, what if he takes this with? I didn't think of that. But takes, and I'm also threatening to have this some kind of attack like that. But at the same time, we can check. Or maybe that was a mistake. Let's see what we can play here. I think e6 and then bishop e7 castles the other way. I don't see maybe a6 and then castle. No, because then there's bishop f4. Yeah, bishop f4 looks strong. I could play something like queen e4, threaten this pawn. He'll probably castle then. Yeah, queen e4 looks quite good. Queen e4. Queen e4, he'll probably castle there. Now he's got some kind of attack here. I need to get another attacker on g2. I could play a6 and queenside castle. Have this good check ready. This, and now I can play e4 after attacking this. So yeah, I'll play a6. He castles, and now maybe I could start a attack on h2. I've got a check on c5, which forces him to go to h1 unless he blocks with one of his pieces. Maybe his rook could be a blockade. Queenside castle, there's no sacrifice on a6. I think I'm going to queenside castle and play something like knight e4, maybe this. No, knight e4 looks better. I don't like how passive this piece is. Let me just castle long side or queenside and then play knight e4. I think that works. Bishop f4. What should I play if he plays? Oh yeah, e4s. Well, not really an idea of attacking g2 anymore, because of course the castle caused the king to defend g2. Again, I could play something like e6 and try to get my bishop on d6. Attack somewhere here. I could start a pawn storm, opening some files towards the opponent's king. Maybe I've also got this. He plays knight to f4. Now I could do this and then knight, queen c5, check, and then knight e4 if he blocks here. Yeah, I'm gonna play this. And he'll most likely move back, and then I can play something like this. Maybe I've got one of those set up, but of course this knight has to be moved. I could set up one of these checkmating ideas. This. Let's see any. Maybe this and try and fork. No, because then he'll have to move this. So I think this is the best option. Don't see a way he can. Maybe he can play b4. And I've got this, so yeah, I think I'm going to play knight e4. I'm threatening this. I'm not threatening anything here because of the e2 knight. I need this knight to move. This knight is getting in the way of everything. Ooh, now I can play this. Then there's b4. This knight could have moved to another square, and then that would have been game over. Hopefully, I need this knight to move, unblock this diagonal. I like e5, but after b4, sorry, b4. I think I'm going to play e5, b4, and maybe queen b6. Oh no, because then he can take this pawn, so maybe I'll have to play queen e7. Let's play e5, forking these two pieces. This piece could be a bit weak. Be almost like to play b4, counter attacking my queen. Then maybe e2 looks the best. Luckily there's no let's see. Let's see what he plays. He plays queen g4 check. Maybe I have to be careful of any checks like this. Maybe I can't block here. I think this works. I think if it does this, then I just take. I don't see a way he can. Or maybe there's some kind of attack here, but of course, let me just play b8. I think that's the only option here. This. Now he plays b what? b4. I'm going to play d5. If he plays c4, then I'm going to take this knight here. Let's see. I think this is the only option. Yeah. Now if he tries this, then I can take, and he don't have any options here because my queen's defending c6. Maybe I've still got some kind of checkmate threat in the future. Now let's see what he plays. Rook d1 doesn't work because I can take with the pawn, but it does open up this diagonal, which could be a threat because now my pieces are, my king would be exposed. As you can see, the queen is controlling this c8 h3 diagonal, and of course the rook is eyeing a6. So maybe it'd be better to take this bishop instead. What could be a good move here? I don't think there's any. Oh, there might be. Oh, I see that. How should I stop this attack? If I take the bishop with the pawn, He's got knight c6 check. I have to take the queen, also lose the queen, and then of course he takes the rook. So maybe I'll move my bishop to defend this d8 rook, and of course block the d file. I don't see any action of the knight currently. I think bishop d6 is the best move here. And then he's no longer got an option. Maybe he can move the knight back, and of course there's a discovered check or discovered attack. But if he moves that, maybe I can play knight f2. If he takes there, then of course I'm gonna checkmate him, unless he plays knight e2. And I think I've got the same idea there. So I think this doesn't work yet. So maybe, but of course there's that. I like bishop d6. Maybe just take here. Take. And maybe take here though. I just want to have this. No, I don't have that. Maybe I could try and counter attack on f5. I need this rook to be removed from this f file. I think queen d6 is the best move here. Yeah, queen d6, not queen d6, bishop d6. If he takes g7 with the queen, of course it opens the g file for my rook. So maybe that's not the best idea for white. I don't see any c6 action. I'm seeing something with maybe moving the knight back. But where would he move it? If he moves there, then I've got knight. No, I don't, because the queen's defending and I've blocked this rook. Let's see. I think knight e2 is going to be played. Knight e2 is not a good move, because then I've got that attack. It blocks the queen from the rook, so maybe knight c2 will be played, or knight f3. So maybe my attack will work here. Takes. Let me quickly do the arrows. Check. He could move back here though, but then I'll take here. Takes and takes. I think I'm winning material here. So maybe this takes this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play that. Knight f2. There's this, but then I take. He takes, and I take here, winning material. I can maybe play e8 next. So I'd say this is going pretty well for me. I'm not blundering. Maybe I have blundered, but there was a miss. Now I take on d1. Oh, maybe he'll play g1. Now I'm going to take here. Oh no, you can't play g1 because then I take the queen. So maybe he has to sacrifice a piece here. And my opponent resigns. GG to all my opponents. Let's review the game now and see what I did well and what I did wrong. So I had 0 mistakes, but I did have a miss, so we will analyse this miss deeply. and see what I missed. So let's start. D4 and D5, E4. This is the Black Dima Gambit. I'm gonna analyse with the engine off. E4, sorry, and D takes E4. Knight F3, Knight C3, and Knight F6, defending this pawn. He plays F3, and I just decide to defend it again with Bishop F5. He takes, and I take with the Bishop. Maybe better would have been to take with the Bishop, because now if he trades, I've still got the, well, we've both still got the Bishop pairs, but the Bishop pair could be strong because it looks like it's going to be an open position with maybe some kind of open centre. Maybe E5 could have been played next, maybe trade the queens and then play Knight C6, queenside castle with check winning a tempo, and then some kind of bishop development. So bishop takes E4 and knight takes E4, I take back, and then queen F3 is played. Why is this a mistake? Well, it's not very good to get your queen out in the beginning, in the opening. Maybe better for my opponent would have been maybe C4, something like knight F3 defending this pawn. I see this is a mistake because now he loses this pawn, and this is defended at the same time. He plays knight to E2, and here I played D5. I don't like this check because this, now I've got two pieces falling. C4 I don't like because after knight C3 I've got this, my opponent's got this discovered attack. Knight F4. I think the reason this is a good move or not, an excellent or best, is because you're moving the same piece twice in the opening. It is attacking my queen, but my queen can move to a safer square, maybe the A5 check, which is actually an inaccuracy. Here I thought, why not get my pieces out of any attacks, out of any threats, and continue development. Maybe better here would have been let's see, Queen E5 maybe, but then there's Knight D3, and I'm just going to keep going around. Let's continue, and we'll see what the best move was later when we analyse it with an engine. We've got C3. Here, C3 is the best move. It blocks the check, of course. Maybe Bishop D2 would have led to checkmate, so this is basically the only move. And now Knight D6. I'm moving it out of the attack, so the queen is no longer attacking, and of course it's defending this B6 square, so I won't lose my rook this way. And now Bishop C4. This is a blunder because of course I can just take with the knight, I think, and after this I don't see a way. Maybe something like, no, that don't work. Let's see, it takes Queen B7, check. He moves back. Let's see what I missed. Maybe I could trap his queen somehow, but then after this is pinned. I'll probably lose this. Can't really see a way to defend from this Queen B7. Maybe there's some kind of checkmate threat which maybe I can play knight e3 and threaten this fork, and of course after this it's not hard to continue because after this, so maybe this was the best move now, because then he can take and then he wins this rook. That's a rook for 2 pieces, so who's complaining? Let's continue. So after knight c6, which was a miss, we will get to why it was a miss in when we turn on the engine. He plays bishop b3. Now I play knight to d4, threatening to take the bishop and threatening the queen at the same time. Queen d1 is played, and now I check on e5. Better here would have been maybe just queenside castling or developing another, so maybe e5 and then developing on e8, maybe castle this side even. So queen e5 check and knight e2. The only move without losing material. I take on b3. He takes back with the a pawn. This stops me from castling queenside because of course there's attacks on a7. And now a6 is played. I wanted to castle queenside because my rook can instantly go on d8 maybe. Better here would have been to just go on d8 instantly. Something like this. And if he takes, well, now I've got this attack, knight b5, this attack on this rook, and this attack here. Yeah, so he'd be losing material, I think. a6 and castles kingside. I castle queenside, looking to get some kind of discovered attack going. Bishop c4, developing with a tempo, I think. This, of course, attacks my queen, and I have to move my queen away. I instead check on c4, and he plays h2, h1 with the king. Better here, instead of moving the king, he could have played maybe knight d, and then there's this, so maybe not that. Maybe he could try and trade queens, takes and then takes, improving his position. Of course there's none of that because it's no longer defended. Let's continue. Better here would have probably been, instead of checking, let's see. Don't see any. Maybe a counter attack take, but I'm losing material this way. So yeah, I see this as the only option. Maybe it wasn't. We'll check with the computer later. Queen c5, and now he plays h1, and I'll play knight to d4. Maybe setting up some kind of attack. Let's say. Let's just play some random moves and see if this attack was correct. We've got, no, I don't think it was, because after this he can take here and here, but it's not like it's this. Let's see, he plays this one. Now I've got this, and it's not checkmate because of this queen. So luckily I didn't play that. Let's continue. e5, forking these two pieces, and queen g4. I'll move my king to b8, and now b4 is played, counter-attacking my queen. Here I play d5, defending the c6 square, and maintaining the attack on d4. Look, d1 is played. I don't know what he's trying to do here, maybe defend this d4 knight. or maybe start some kind of discovered attack. Bishop d6. This blocks this d file, and preventing any attack on the rook after knight c6. He moves to f3, and of course f2 check is now too strong to handle. Rook takes f2, and now I take here. If he plays g1, then he loses his queen, so here he'll have to sacrifice his rook, sorry. And after I take, now he can play this because there's no longer an attack, but after this I can play this, and here my material advantage is just too great for him to draw or win the game unless I blunder many times. That's how the game went. Let's start with the engine analysis. So d4 book move. Let's see how long we stayed in theory. d4, d5 and e4 takes. Knight c3 and knight f6. f3, bishop f5 takes. fe, bishop takes e4. Yeah, knight takes e4 would have been better. Then if he trades, then of course we're taking back with the bishop. Now we've got a strong active bishop, and he has not developed any of his pieces. So bishop takes e4, knight takes e4. Now I take back with the knight. Queen f3, and taking the pawn here. Knight e2 and queen d5. Let's see, queen a4. It's just met with this, and maybe this, and can't play this because I've got two attackers, but he's also got two defenders. Queen a4, maybe attacking this pawn. Queen f4 looks like a reasonable move, but it's not something I would like to play, even though it is the best move. Let's continue. Queen d5, knight f4 and queen a5. So queen c6 would have been better. So now we're maintaining this tension. So maybe releasing tension on a5 wasn't very good. Maybe it was too early to release the tension. A5, which is an inaccuracy. C3 and knight d6. This is where he blundered. C6, so knight takes c4 would have been better. Let's see the continuation. Queen takes b7. Oh, there's knight b6. e5 check. Knight e2. Maybe now there's b6. Knight b6. Yeah, now this queen is very weak. Can I move back to this square without being taken? So yeah, it's just an extremely weak queen. He's going to lose a lot of moves. Trying to find a place for it to go. So let's continue. So maybe here I was frightened of this attack because I didn't see knight b6, so I played knight c6 instead. And now my opponent has another mistake with bishop b3, knight d4 is played, and maybe this was a mistake because he didn't see this pin, and it allowed me to fork these, improve my pieces. So after bishop b3, let's see, bishop d5 would have been better. There's no double attack. This could have still been an option, but then there's this diagonal battery. So bishop b3 is played, and now knight d4. He moves back. Bishop takes f7 would have been better. Bishop takes f7. Now that looks quite interesting. Bishop takes f7. I don't see how this is the best. Oh yeah, because after this, if I take, maybe there's some kind of discovered attack. Not that I'm aware. Maybe this. Oh no, because then there's this attack, of course. Yeah. So now he's gonna have to move the queen. Maybe this was the only option, because then there's some kind of, maybe there's some kind of mating threat or something. Let's see. After D, oh, that's an excellent move. Maybe here could have been knight takes b3. Of course he can't take here, so now he's gonna have to take here, and now I can improve my position with e5 check. He plays e2. King f2 would have been better. And now maybe I can improve my pieces. e6, or maybe even castling alongside would have been better. Now this pawn's defended. And this knight, this rook is ready to attack on the d file. So knight e2 and knight takes b3. He takes back with the pawn, which of course opens up the a file. a6, maybe so g6 here would have been better. Maybe looking to fianchetto the bishop. Maybe looking to take space with a 5. Let's continue. So after a6, castles and a queenside castle. Maybe here e6. Looking to, no, maybe g6 again, or queen h5. Let's check what this does. Pins this knight. Maybe allows me to play e5 next. Get my bishop out. Castle this way. I prefer to castle the opposite way to the opponent's king, because it allows me to start a pawn storm. So attacking is a lot easier, but of course defending is a lot harder as a result. So a6, castle, and bishop f4, queen c5. So a lot of good moves. So maybe I didn't play that accurately. Queen h5 again would have been better. Now I can maybe play e5. Of course, if he takes here, I can take here, revealing another attack on the queen. And maybe this is quite weak. He's gonna have to play something here, and then maybe I can start some kind of centre attack, some pawn storms, and improving the rest of my pieces. Queen c5 and king h1. So this is quite reasonable, getting the king out of danger. h1 is probably the furthest away from the centre. Knight d4. Yeah, would have been better. But I saw this. Knight d4 would have been better, I guess. I saw this. Let's see why this isn't it's an excellent move. b4, queen d5, and rook a5. So now there's an attack here. That's why it's not the best move. Well, now we know. So maybe moving here, it loses an opportunity to improve your pieces, your knight. So knight to e4. Now I'm starting to take more of the centre. I'm starting to infiltrate into my opponent's position or side. And now there's also this good attack, so I can use that extra move to play something like e5. He plays d4, and now I fork his pieces. Queen g4, and now I move my king. b4, queen d5. Rook a to d1, and bishop d6. Maybe here, bishop takes bishop takes b4. This wins a pawn. It also stops any attack here. Now I can play, maybe take here or here. E takes f4 would have been better. Maybe it's because since it's an open position, this bishop is a lot stronger than this knight. Now look at this position. We see that that the pawn structure is in my favour. Although we've got double pawns, black has got isolated double pawns, so these are even weaker than these two double pawns. His pieces are quite uncoordinated. This queen isn't doing much other than attacking here, maybe some kind of threat here. This knight may be attacking here, but can easily be taken. And the rooks are attacking well, this one's attacking a semi-closed file. This one it's a bit stronger, but of course my pieces are also well defending these this d file. Let's continue. Bishop d6 and knight f3. We already know what happens after this. Knight f2, rook takes f2, and now I win by resignation after queen d1. So let's see. Let's go back to this. Actually, no, we've already done that. So thank you very much for listening and taking. Thank you very much for listening to me, and remember, if you have any advice to give, any information which could help me, that's very much appreciated. I would like as much advice as possible to help me improve. It can be harsh advice or soft advice. It doesn't really matter as long as it helps me improve and it's not any joking about. Well, anyways, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.